Kia ora guys, welcome to another flip video session. Today we're looking at common denominators. Why do we want fractions to have common denominators? That's the bottom number in a fraction. Why do we want them to be the same? Remember, the denominator tells us how many equal parts the fraction has been broken up into. So essentially this question is asking us, why do we want fractions to be broken up into the same amount of equal parts? Alright, what are common denominators? When the denominators of two or more fractions are the same, they have common denominators. That is, they share the same denominator, and that means they share the same amount of equal parts. So both fractions, or three or five fractions, how many you're comparing, are all broken up into the same number of equal parts. Why is it important? Because we can't add, subtract, or easily compare fractions with different denominators. For example, what is 1/3 plus 1/6? Before we can add them together or compare them, we must make the denominators the same. So how do we do that? Find the least common multiple of the denominators, which is called the least common denominator. Change each fraction, if needed, to make their denominators the same as the least common denominator. Then add, subtract, compare the fraction as you wish. Essentially, what we want to do is transform the fractions so that they're broken up into the same amount of equal parts. Alright, let's check it out. We are going to compare 1/3, so we're going to add 1/3 plus 1/6. But before we can do that, we need to make the denominators the same. One way to do this is to look for a multiple that both denominators share. Alright, so 1/3 plus 1/6, what can we do? Well, straight away, I know that I can multiply 3 by 2 to get to 6. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to transform 1/3 so that it has 6 as its denominator. But be careful, what we do to the top of the fraction we must do to the bottom. Alright, so I can leave 1/6 alone because it already has a denominator of 6. I need to transform 1/3 into 2/6. Right, I do this by multiplying both the numerator and the denominator by 2. Right, essentially, I'm cutting 1/3, in half. So I'm pretty much putting a line straight through there. And I'm doubling the amount of equal pieces that fraction is broken up into. Okay, so I'm multiplying the amount of pieces that fraction has by 2, or I'm doubling it. So, sorry about the coughing. So I go 1 times 2 equals 2, 3 times 2 equals 6. What you do on the top, you must do on the bottom, and that's transformed 1/3 into 2/6. And you can see that visually there. By multiplying it, I'm doubling the amount of equal pieces that fraction has. Now, I can add them together because the denominator is the same, or the amount of equal pieces that each fraction is broken up into is the same, so they're easy to add. So 2/6 plus 1/6, okay. Adding fractions, you add the top numbers together if the denominators are the same, which they are. So 2 plus 1 equals 3, so my answer is 3/6. Alright guys, watch this a couple of times to fully unpack it and understand it. See ya.